So my router that I've been using for the past 15 years finally broke. It just broke this morning. I was able to router out this one side here, and don't know what happened. It just all of a sudden just broke. But I have this special guide on it right here, and then this is the jig that I use to router hinges. So now that that's broken, and I'm literally waiting on a truck delivery, so I can't leave to go buy another one, which I'll buy another one tonight. So I still have to build a door, and I figured, what the hell, I'll do it the old school way and kind of show y'all at least a good way to do this. So this is one I already did with the chisel, and basically I'm using a Harbor Freight chisel. I think I picked up a 3-pack of these for $7.99. Razor knife, hammer, and then the hinge you want to put on here. So now my jig is set up to, where'd it go? There it is. My jig is set up to match perfectly with the hinge. So when you do it by hand, never 100%, but it's pretty damn close. In fact, this is kind of, that's about how good I get. Whoops. Holy cow, you guys are close. So you can see right here, there's a little, piece here that's a little out, but there's not much I can do about that doing it by hand. And I'm going to fill it all in with some wood putty before I sell it. But when using it, well, first thing, whenever you have your line, you always want to razor knife it. But whenever you have a curve, it's kind of hard to razor knife. So what I do is I just poke the razor knife into it to get down deep into the wood, because you want to basically get your edge lined up. And this is what a router does in a much faster pace. But so you get all that done, and then you take your hammer and chisel and you do it with the chisel always facing like this. You want to go across with your hammer and chisel, but you want to take off a little bit of wood. You don't want to just get down in there. And the way you adjust the thickness is by how you angle this. So if you're going too deep, you angle the chisel down and it'll work its way back up because of the little bevel there. So I'm going to do this real quick. I'm just going to pause the video. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to show you as far as the the final cleanup. So just give me 1 second here. All right, so I chiseled this out, and then I did that with the hammer and the chisel, and right there it caught a little bit farther than I wanted it to go. But see how right here is a little too shallow? So what you do is the final part of it, the cleaning up, just kind of scrape across the edge. And I'm trying to do this one-handed. Usually I do it two-handed. And I am putting a little pressure into it. And you want a good sharp chisel. You don't want to sit there and have a dull chisel and things not work out right. And I'm going to have to probably use 2 hands here. So, but basically all I'm doing is kind of just taking off a little bit at a time. There we go. That's a nice little piece there. And I'm just going to keep smoothing it out until it gets down to the thickness to where that the hinge is flush with the top. You see right here, I got to take out a little bit here. I'll have to clean up this edge here. That's a little too much, but it's not going to really affect too much. I mean, you don't want to do the whole thing because then the hinge will be too deep. But pretty much use a chisel, again, this direction. If you use it this direction, it's going to dig down into the wood, and it's just going to ruin the wood. So you always want to be able to kind of, whenever you're chiseling, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm kind of pushing down so I'm just, scraping it. So, but hopefully this helps out for those who don't have a router and need to hinge the door. This is how I do it when I don't have my, $250 setup there. But it's $200 for the router. It's about $50 for this little guide piece. And we're not even talking about the, the router bit. I think they're like $40-50 just for so, And then the jig is just some scrap wood that I done, which I've been kind of thinking about making new jigs, but at the same time I'm wanting to be done here. So, but now I have to buy a new router, so I got to finish these jobs. I got still about 200 doors to build. So, but I'm going to finish the little fine tuning here and just get this, cleaned up and nice and smooth. And this, it doesn't hurt anything to take the hinge and test fit it. So you got the hinge here, you test fit it. You can feel right here that, well, I can still catch the edge. back here it's sticking up, you know, so. But anyways, that's what I'm gonna be doing this until I get the truck delivery. Then the next door, at least I'll be able to use the router. So, but I gotta go buy another one. Anyways, hopefully this helps. Peace, love, money. I'm out.